Good afternoon. This is Betty Shan again, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. And if you're a subscriber, I appreciate it. If you're not, subscribe. And if you don't want to subscribe, at least watch and give me your opinions, good or bad. We like to take opinions, have opinions put on there where we know if we're reaching somebody or if we're wasting our time or what we're doing. But I do want to bring something that will bring joy to your heart and make you think back about when you was a child or when your grandparents were children and different things that happened, and my life will reflect what I was and your life reflects what you are. And I was thinking today about how that my dad was a real fisherman. I mean, Lloyd Bryant was a fisherman. He At times he had a tent, at times he had a pulling trailer, sometimes he slept in the back of his truck, but he'd go and spend all night on the river catching fish and running trot lines. And when me and my sister were younger, he would take us fishing, but he got kind of tired of that real quick because he was having to put the worms on and the minnows on, and then he was having to take the fish off if we caught one, so he wasn't getting to do much fishing. So it got to the point we didn't get to go fishing with him very often because he wanted to fish. He didn't want to babysit, he wanted to fish. So as my children come along, and he had a boat and a trailer, and he'd pull his trailer down to the river a lot of times to catch fish. Now, today, a lot of these fish out of these rivers, you can't eat them because they've got too much mercury in them. But at that time, everything was clean. There wasn't no mercury count in the water. You know, they test them to see. And we took the boat down to the river. Well, he was running trot lines at night, but he took us down there during the day, and he was going to let us get on the boat. And he had the two of my girls was in the boat, and my sister was in the boat, and he wanted me to get in the boat, and I didn't know how to get in the boat. I put one foot on the shore, and I had another foot in the boat, and I was doing these splits. Daddy said, I thought you was going to break right in two. And my sister said, no, she wasn't going to do that. She's fixing to fall in the river. They're fixing to have a real laugh about it. But my daddy laughed so hard that day. He just laughed, and I'll never forget it because when he laughed all over. He was tickled all over. And he went around telling everybody about how Betty went fishing with him, and she didn't know how to get in the boat and didn't know how to get out of the boat. But he finally got an oar and pulled the boat closer to shore and held it so I could get in the boat with the kids. But there's a lot of times that these memories they're so precious to us, and I've thought of a song, and the song goes like this. It says, Jesus is the answer to our world today. Without him, there's no other. Jesus is the way. And when we put Jesus in our lives with everything that happens, it makes life go so much smoother. We enjoy living more. We enjoy, even though things come our way. And I'll be honest, my life has not been all roses. Someday I'll tell you some of the valleys that I've went through, hoping that they will help you be able to go through some of your valleys. But sometimes living life at its best is hard. But if we've got Jesus on our side, we've got a lot to be thankful for. And I'm telling you, I still call on the Lord for everything. I had a young lady talking to me here a while back, and we mentioned our hair, and I said, well, I've even prayed that the Lord won't let me lose all of my hair. I said, as my mother got older, her hair broke off, and she didn't have hardly any hair because of the medications she was on. And I'm on more medications than my mother was, but I've prayed, and I'm believing the Lord that I won't lose my hair. I'm hoping I won't. And, there are just so many things in life. I remember the children. I wanted them to learn that God is the answer to their life. And they had a little dog. Of course, when we the girls got to pick the dog that they wanted. So a lady had some poodles, and she told them they could have their pick of the poodles. And so they went to her house, and of course they come back with the runt. It was the least one. It didn't look healthy or nothing, but it was the baby, so we had to have that one. And they named that little dog Frisky. Well, he got to where he couldn't jump up and down on the steps. And at that point in our life, we didn't have any extra money to go and pay for a vet and everything you had to have with the dog. We'd take them when they had to have it, but we didn't have money just to keep continually taking the dog back. So I told the girls, I said, if you'll pray for that old dog, I said, God can heal an animal just like he does a person. I said, I remember a time that my grandma Bryant, their cow went dry, and they had to have that milk. That they couldn't do without the milk cow. And I remember Grandma going out and praying for the old cow, and God answered her prayer. And today we can still call on the Lord. When we find a place, a rock or a hard place, God is still there, and that's one of his promises. He's promised to heal us and to provide our very needs. And so today, if you don't know him, learn to call on him and depend on him, because he is the answer to the world today. And without him, there is no other. Jesus is the way. So you have a blessed day. Keep your chin up, smile, and live for the Lord.